Hi everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at some review for our upcoming quiz. So first thing that we want to do is take a look at those dimensional analysis problems that we were working on to start. So as always, start off with the units that you are given, so those 5 and those miles, and before you do anything else, let's see where do we want to end this question. So our goal is to end this question in yards. So the only thing that we need to do now is to work our way from miles over to yards. So again, miles on top means we need to have miles on the bottom, and let's see what conversion factors we end up with that might get us there. So can we relate miles to yards directly? It looks like in the top corner here, save us a step. Beautiful, we can. So save, again, actually a few steps here off of what I was looking at. We can put 1 mile equals 1760 yards. And we're going to see again, miles and miles cancel, where we end with the unit that our goal was to get to yards. And let's see what we end up with here. So 5 times 1760 gets us to 8,800 yards. The bottom is just 1, so we're actually in perfect shape. So our final answer to this is 8,800 yards equals 5 miles. So that was the conversion that we're looking for. Next, so Tour de France cyclists ride 3,653.6 kilometers in 20 days. How many miles do they go? So do we need to worry about days here? Looks like we don't need to in this case. So again, some unimportant information there. Sometimes though, might need to use that as a rate. It might be like, what is the rate in miles? But in this case, they just want us to simply convert kilometers over to miles. And it looks like, again, this is a nice full table here. Good one to save for our notes. 1 mile equals 1.6093 kilometers. So we can, again, put kilometers on the bottom. Our goal is to get to miles on the top, and it looks like this is going to do that exactly for us. So 1.6093 kilometers equals 1 mile. So multiply straight across. We're going to see our kilometer units cancel. And that is what we are left with for our answer. Now remember, we do want this as a unit rate, so we are going to need to divide this fraction. And we should get an answer of about 2,270.3 miles. All right, so that worked for us. And again, make sure that last step we're dividing, we want to have a 1 on the bottom. All right, next type of questions, we are looking at some proportions. So again, remember, if we have these in a fraction bar already set up for us, we are just looking at cross multiplication and setting those terms equal to each other. So we're going to have 8 times 3 equals 4 times x, or 24 equals 4x, dividing out both sides, and we're left with x equals 6 as a term for number 5. A second reminder, if we do have some extra terms on these fractions, these proportional reasoning questions, again, setup still the same. So 6 times 7 equals 9 times b minus 1, but 9 times b minus 1 does require some distribution and parentheses. So going through and solving, 42 equals 9b minus 9. Going to add 9 to both sides, but 51 equals 9b. And again, we can just leave that as that fraction there of b equals 51 over 9. All right, check our work real quick. Make sure we didn't make any mistakes with negatives, especially if we have a fractional answer, right? We want to make sure we're in good shape. And it looks like everything that we did well, and that fractional answer is okay. All right, last step, we got some proportional reasoning question word problems. Again, thinking back to that example of the Empire State Building. So we have a 6-foot tall tent, casts a 10-foot shadow. If we had a 9-foot tall elephant, what is the proportion that will set us to x? How big is that shadow for that elephant? So 6 foot tall over a 10-foot shadow, 9-foot tall elephant over x for the shadow. We don't know that. And again, just turns ourselves into a proportional reasoning question again. So we'll end up with 6 times x equals 10 times 9, or 6x equals 90. Divide both of these by 6, and we'll get that answer of x equals 15. Let's see if that makes sense. 6-foot tall tent casts a 10-foot shadow, so a 9-foot tall elephant should cast a bigger shadow. An answer of 15-foot shadow for the elephant makes sense. we are in good shape. Just make sure you put units there, so 15 feet for the shadow. Awesome, so do a similar setup for the remaining questions here. Sometimes that diagram does help, especially for something like that, and we'll be in good shape. As always, any questions, please let me know. Excited to see how we're going to do on our quiz here, but I think we're going to be in good shape off of everything that we've seen so far this unit. So thanks for your hard work, everybody.